This week on Marae Investigates, what's happening with the Super Cities Māori Statutory Board?
I believe there's some out there just wouldn't want Māori at the table anyway.
We are treated substandard in that we're treated as second-class ratepayers.
And we may have lost the cup, but plans are still afoot for Auckland's waterfront.
There is no Maori or Polynesian presence in the downtown area.
Then the orators of the future strut their stuff.
E ngā tai moana, e ngā tai whenua, tēnā rā koutou katoa.
No mai anō rā ki tō tātou marae, horo atu nei.
Now, Tāmaki Makaurau is about to complete its first term as New Zealand's super city. Candidates are lining up with promises of change to win votes and the opportunity to represent over 1 million people.
Also completing its first term and promising change is the controversial Independent Māori Statutory Board, an entity we don't get to vote for, but one which will continue to influence decisions made by the new Auckland Council. But while the Statutory Board has made impressive gains, it continues to be criticised and, as Carmen Parahi discovers in this investigation, has its own internal tensions.
We are treated substandard in that we're treated as second-class ratepayers.
I believe there's some out there just wouldn't want Māori at the table anyway.
Love them or hate them, the Independent Māori Statutory Board, controversially set up 3 years ago, doesn't need your vote to continue their work on the country's most powerful council.
I've heard some people complain that we're unelected and that's undemocratic, but my response to that is that Parliament's the most democratic body in the country and they put us here. They created the law for it.
During the Super City set-up, one of the most contentious issues was whether Māori should have 3 recommended Auckland Council seats. The government said no, preferring an advisory board, but Māori pushed hard for a legal entity, and the Independent Māori Statutory Board was created to assist the Auckland Council on Māori matters.
I look forward to the day when seats are there and the Māori Statutory Board is there complementing that process.
The IMSB has an impressive work record in its first term, achieving all of its tasks set by Parliament.
Absolutely tirelessly knocking the work over, getting in Council's face in terms of making change.
They've created a schedule of issues of significance for Māori, an audit on how the Council gives effect to the Treaty of Waitangi and Māori wellbeing research. The Māori Plan was created from the research and strategic work priorities were established for the Board and Council through it.
We've introduced Māori impact statements through every report, so it's in the face of the officers, it's in the face of the councillors.
But it's the work on 16 of the Council's 20 committees that's upset councillors and ratepayers, critical of the IMSB because representatives vote on the committees but are not elected to do so.
But there are other people that sit on committees at council that aren't councillors as well. So I don't know why the attention's been toward us rather than as a whole.
Are you accusing them of being racist?
I would argue that they're probably misinformed more than racist.
Taipari admits the board will seek to be on every committee next term and warns they will use the law to extend their representation.
We're also quite keen to venture down the path of non-board members being appointed by us to sit on council committees, which we can do, which is lawful for us to undertake.
I think that's a step that most people would not be prepared to go to, and certainly not me.
Mayor Len Brown also completes his first term, rating his council's work with the IMSB on Māori issues as a B-, up from a D last year. David Taipari admits without the support of the Mayor during the first term, the Statutory Board would have struggled in the committees. He's issued a further challenge for the Mayor and the next Auckland Council.
Len Brown did commit at the last election that he would work to have seats on the governing body.
I think we should leave it as it presently stands for maybe another 2 terms.
He asked almost directly to you to advocate for council seats?
Well, that's something that I'd like to hear from him personally. So I'm not going to debate that on camera because that's not a discussion that I've specifically had with him.
During the Auckland amalgamation, Mayor Brown took to the streets in protest in support of the seat, and when he became mayor, said he would pursue a referendum on them.
I've declared my preference, and I want to see Māori representation, particularly mana whenua representation on that council.
Is that a U-turn from you?
No, I mean, at that point in time, we didn't know how the Independent Māori Statutory Board would work out. And, you know, I've been really impressed with it. I think it's working well.
We will go to a referenda in the next 3 years to get Māori seats on the governing board.
The statutory board went through its own selection process recently. Only 4 of the current 9 members will return for a second term, including John Tamihere and Chairman David Taipari. Both men want Māori council seats on the agenda next term.
We will advance the fact that Māori seats on the governing board occur. That has to go to a referendum. In election 2016, we will have a vote in Auckland to determine whether Māori get governing board representation of the Māori role.
Would you support a referendum?
I mean, I'm reasonably comfortable with referendum. It depends on whether or not it's fully binding.
Why won't you take a position? Are you concerned about
Because
votes?
I like the Independent Māori Statutory Board as a model, and I feel that it's working well. And, you know, to broaden that from Independent Māori Statutory Board as well as representation as standalone seats, that's a further significant step, and I'm not at that place yet.
It's not a laughing matter for the statutory board. Its 9 members represent 130,000 Māori living in Auckland. 7 seats represent mana whenua, or 14% of Māori in Tāmaki Makaurau. 2 seats represent Mātāwaka, or 63% of Māori with tribal links elsewhere. But an internal threat is imminent.
We've got a bit of a grievance there because the mana whenua Electoral College appoints our 2 Mātāwaka reps. I'm uncomfortable with that.
Mātāwaka representative John Tamihere is challenging the selection process and is threatening an injunction to stop the new board.
You must take into account Mātāwaka views. They did not have in 2 separate appointment processes, and we're going to litigate that because we have to.
Well, I set up that process, so I would say it's exactly right.
Māori Affairs Minister Dr Peter Sharples supervises and signs off the statutory board's representative process, but doesn't appoint members.
Are you disappointed by the injunction?
Well, I would rather there was no injunction because I think the process is quite good. You know, considering what we had, what we've achieved, we did win the battle to have a statutory body as opposed to an advisory board to council. And the difference is that the statutory body has its own legislation, tū motu hake ana, and is sitting alongside council, bringing Māori issues with it. So that's a great win. In fact, it's probably better than having just people on the council.
He can't help feeling a bit smug about it.
It's backfired for the government.
It has. Well, I don't know whether it's backfired. We say it has brought them some joy because we believe in the council.
What's your reaction to Mayor Len Brown not wanting Māori seats on the council anymore?
That's not surprising because I think Len sees that he was for the seats before. At least at one stage he was. But now he sees that the statutory body's in place. I guess he thinks that that's probably better, and in terms of Māori voice.
Minister Sharples confirmed he will support a referendum on Auckland Council Māori seats.
I would, until such time as Māoris are being elected in numbers to councils, yes. I would definitely support that. I didn't know they were going to do that, but I would support that.
Should all New Zealand councils have an independent Māori statutory board?
I would hope Wellington will adopt this model because they have large numbers of different tribes living there and several mana whenua as well. So I would like to see other cities. It is really Titi o Waitangi in action.
Despite all the challenges ahead for the new Auckland Council and the independent Māori Statutory Board, all admit if more Māori stood for election and voted more, there would be less need for controversial representation.
Let's not talk about Māori needing to be on the governing body. Let's do something about it. The biggest danger to us in achieving that is our Māori people don't vote.
Nā, hei te tekau mā rua o whiringa ānuku mutu ai te wā tuku pōti kaunihera ārohe. Heoi ia tātou e kōrero ana mo te whaitua nui o Tāmaki Makaurau, ki te pātai koe ki te tangata tohua mai he whare o te ao hou nei o te ao tau whitiwhiti nei, kāre e kore ka tohua e taua tangatara te pourewa teitei o Tāmaki. Engari koera rā nei te taumata o tātou whakaaro ki tēnei mea ki te whare o te ao hou, i tūpono atu a te hemara rauhihi ki tētahi rōpū e manoko ana ki te whakatū i tētahi momo tohu o te ahurea poronihia ki te wahapū o Tāmaki Makaurau.
Ko Tāmaki Makaurau te taone o te taupori nui ake o te ao mo ngā tāngata Māori me ngā iwi o te moana nui a Kiwa. Engari, kei te whakatinana tia tērā i te pokapū o te moki nui nei?
Māori? Oh, mate, that's a good question.
No, not really.
Nah, sorry, man. Oh, I can't help you there, right? Oh.
Not off the top of my head, no.
No, mate, I'm going to have to say, no, I don't.
There is no Maori or Polynesian presence in the downtown area. You wouldn't know if this was Adelaide or San Diego or Brisbane, and, you know, I think that's appalling.
Nā reira mō ngā tau te kaukua hori kua ihu one a Mark Graham me tana rōpū a Kiwa kia whakamānawa tia te ao Māori.
Essentially what we want to do is create a hero building, a signature building that can be somewhere where there is a home for Maori and potentially Pacific culture that both celebrates the culture and nurtures and exposes it to a bigger audience.
Rua mano te kaumātahi te ipu whutu pōro o te ao. I kitea te Māori I mua tonu I te aroaro o te ao, engari hei tā Mark me kaua e mutu I reira.
Well, for major events like that, we borrow from Maori culture because it is what makes us distinctive on a world stage. But then once the event's over, then it goes back into its box.
Nā whai anō te hiahia kia whakahoahoatia tētahi whare ahurea Māori nei kia pūmau tonu tā tātou noho I te pokapū o Tāmaki.
When the cruise ships pull up here, Waka can go out and meet them. And then they come in and they come into Kiwa where they experience amazing singers, amazing theatre, amazing art produced by Maori and Pacific artists. You know, why wouldn't you want that to happen?
Engari me ātahaere me tūpato hoki. Arā hoki e tahi tono kua tukuna ki te kaunihera me te kāwanatanga.
Where it could go wrong is in quick decisions being made that end up being the wrong decisions. At some stage there will be funding found for something down here, and the question will be what will that something be? Will it be something that exploits the culture, or will it be something that celebrates and nurtures the culture?
Kua roa nei te mahi tahia Mark me te iwi o Ngāti Whātua ki ōrākei kia tutuki tēnei moimoi ā. Aha kua kaurea Ngāti Whātua o rākei I whai wāhi ki te kōrero a kanohi mai, I tukuna mai tā rātou whakahau. Me whakatauria e tahi kaupapa here kia whai wāhi mai ai tētahi whare toi ahurea Māori hoki I te pokapū o Tāmaki.
This is an opportunity for Maori to come forward and really claim ownership on this. Without Maori support, the right thing may not happen. Whatever does happen down here has got to have integrity and value, lasting value.
tika tāna, ne. Hei tā te wahapū o Tāmaki, ara te rōpū e whakahaere ana i te tauranga waka o te Queenie, kei te waihanga rautaki rātou i tēnei wā tonu nei mo taua tauranga waka. Ko te mea nui ki a rātou kia toitū tonu mai te tauranga waka o te Queenie, hei tūranga waiwai mā te Marea whānui, o tira hei tūwā papa whakatairanga i ngā wawata me te whakapapa o te wahapū me te whaitua nui tonu o Tāmaki Makaurau.
Yes, and there's no doubting the America's Cup Challenge captured the hearts and minds of the nation. And judging by TVNZ's viewer ratings, a majority of Māori caught the cup fever. Reporter Kane Peters went to Shed 10 to watch those final heart-wrenching races and canvass Māori opinion about the event.
Kia hora te marino, kia whakapapa pauna mo te moana, kia tere te kārohirohi. May the calm be widespread, may the surface of the ocean glisten like greenstone, and may the shimmer of summer dance across your path forever. Tihei Mauriora.
For Kaumātua and cultural advisor Hare Williams, the spirit was always willing. Like many Māori, he saw the America's Cup as not just a race, it was a unique and special opportunity.
O tāua mo te iwi Māori tino, mahi whakahirahira tēnei hei whakatuwhera i ngā tatau paunami o te ao kia tāua, i Amerika, i Europa, i ngā motu katoa te ao, kua tai tō tāua rongonui ki ngā tōpito katoa o te motu.
William and Claire Wolfgram returned from the United States a few months ago, and now they're living in Northland.
It's promoted our culture worldwide, and that's a good thing. I like to see that.
Well, what I saw over in the States was the media attention that has gotten and focused on New Zealand, which now, even when I was working there, they go, oh, you're from, where's that place? I said, New Zealand? They go, oh, yes, I've seen the sailing.
And for other cup enthusiasts, it's important to keep the momentum it created for more Māori to reconnect with the sea.
We're a seafaring nation and Māori are seafaring, so they should be involved.
Well, I kind of grew up out on the beach, so I've been around boats, yachts, all those types of things, so yeah, it's me.
What do you think of the sport, yachting?
Well, I don't really know too much about yachting, to be quite honest. Yeah. But I'm enjoying it.
How about you? Would you ever jump on a boat and go for a sail?
You're kidding me?
No.
It's bad enough getting on a ferry.
It'll just be like wakama, if anything, I think.
I think a lot of our Māori people should get out there. I know they get into a lot of waka, but this is quite a good thing to support.
But whether we get a chance to support another America's Cup campaign is uncertain. It's an issue that'll be debated in the coming months.
OK, so last week we revealed that our Willie is a bit of a Grinch when it comes to the America's Cup. Did you watch that last race?
I did.
You did?
I did. Oh, no, well, it's a great competition, isn't it? And if anybody could have brought credibility back to the Cup, young Barker, Dean Barker, was the man to do it.
Hang on, have you changed your tune?
No, see, there's a difference between enjoying the competition with Dean Barker and Dalton, Grant Dalton, and actually the politics, because I think the politics of the America's Cup are rotten, actually, and I think there's been corruption, cheating, lies, and in fact we already know Oracle cheats, don't we? They got penalised 2 races.
Yeah, but they took their
so they're official cheats anyway.
Well, they took their punishment. We moved on from that.
No, well, you see, the problem is the history of the event is it reeks with lies, corruption, betrayal.
So basically you're saying you don't want to see us
I don't want to see it
into another campaign?
Not at all. In fact, I remember when it first started, and it was started by Fay and Richwhite, who'd just milked the country. They'd just done their privatisation deals, Rogernomics, all that sort of thing. Milked the country when we least needed it to be milked. And so good Kiwis, let me finish, good Kiwis suffered. Then out of the blue came the America's Cup campaign in '87, and of course you were singing sailing away. You know, you're all captured by it. And then, no, we were all captured by it. But these big businessmen did this thing, put 100 million into it, and we forgot what happened in terms of New Zealand. And then in '95, we finally won it, which was great. And I sort of was trying to get back into it. Then, we got betrayed by Coots and Butterworth, who went over.
So basically, what you're saying, I mean, you could go through the whole history. Yeah. It's basically you're saying it just doesn't work for you. But you know, we've got this story this morning, just before you and I spoke, that it may encourage more Māori to get out in the water. You don't think it has value in that respect?
Well, they said that in '95. Right, when we had the wonderful Peter Blake winning, and it was, and we were on a roll, and still Māori seem to be...
Okay, so that's not working forward. But what about buildings like Kiwa?
Well,
that's impressive.
Here's the sad thing. Since '95, where's the Māori presence on the waterfront? You see, I know 25 years ago, my auntie Hannah Jackson and her partner, they were trying to get these Māori buildings and setups on the viaduct. Couldn't get any support. That bloke who was talking this morning, I totally tautoko. We need to have a Māori presence down there, but do we have to do it through an America's Cup that has a history of corruption? And even the final race, we should have won that final race, but all of a sudden...
Well, it would be nice if we'd won the final race.
Well, they put an aeroplane on the boat.
But the measurement committee said it's legal, it's okay, and let's be careful about this too, because New Zealand, Team New Zealand said that they...
No, they're very magnanimous, but Willie Jackson in South Auckland think that Oracle are cheats. Okay?
What does Willie Jackson think about David Cunliffe's front bench?
Very good front bench, and I talked about it with Scotty last week, and we talked about Nanaia Mahuta, and of course, Scotty doesn't know a lot about politics, so he was saying, Nanaia, her and Shane, they get on. Great to see her in the top 10, and a fantastic...
Well, but he's right. That's the truth.
Nanaia had to be in that top 10 because of her loyalty to Cunliffe and the signs to Māori. So I'm pleased with David Cunliffe and what he's done.
What does putting Nanaia in?
Well, it's a sign to Māori that, hey, we take the Māori vote seriously. We want the Māori seats back. It's not just about Shane Jones, it's about Māori women too. So Nanaia's there. So congratulations to her. They've still got a long way to go, but I believe Nanaia and Shane are talking now, so that's great. But they've got a long way to go because there's a number of Māori women who didn't support Shane at the start. And just on Māori woman, my apologies to Puto Williams, because I said she was another Māori who got a general seat. Apparently she's a Cook Islander, although she's a Cook Island Māori.
Well, she's our cousin. She's our cousin.
Congratulations to her. Well done to Nanaia, and let's hope her and Shane can get it together for the sake of Māori.
We do have to leave it there now. We did miss out on the America's Cup, but we do actually have a winner this morning, and Scotty's going to bring you him in just a moment. Scotty.
You're saying, but before I do, William, see, that's his knowledge of politics. I knew Poto Williams was Rarotongan. And by the way, William, I have extensive knowledge in politics. I have a degree in politics from the University of Rotorua. Anyway, here, mano tauira kura tuarua I tere pipi whakawatu ki kirikiriroa I tēnei wiki mo te whakataetai manu kōrero o te motu. Ko ia te wāhi e tū mai ai ngā kāka tarahai me ngā manu korohi o a popo. A neira e tahi o rātou.
And locally not.
If I could see the world through my ancestors' eyes, I'd see a valley filled with life, opportunities, and beautiful women.
Right, joining me now is the winner of the Senior Māori section, the prestigious Pei Te Hurinui Jones Trophy, Raniera Blake. Tēnā koe hoa.
Kia ora.
Nō reira, koe toa koe, pe he o whakaaro?
Tēnei wā ko tau ko ki mai ki te whenua. Me haere tonu ngā mahi, te wā.
He hao mahi ai e koe, kia pakari ai koe, mō tēnei whakataitai?
I upoko pakaru ngā mahi roto i te whai kōrero. Engari ko te tino aro ko te tene i te mea kāre i tino eke i ngā whakatātai arohe. Nā reira i tino upoko pakaru roto i te ngā mahi tene.
Koe ra hoki te tino whakamātautau i te kōrero tene i te mea kāre koe e tukuna ki a ta whakarite i o kōrero i mua i tērā wāhanga nera. Nō reira, hea tō kaupapa kōrero, hea koe i kōwhiria i tērā kaupapa kōrero?
Ko taku kaupapa, me noho tuakana te kounga o te reo i ngā pai aru whakawā o te matatini. Ko tāku ki te kore te reo, kāore he haka. Ki te ware, he kanikani hea nohi o te tirohanga atu. Koe ra tāku.
Me te ahe tino whakapono ana koe, kia aro ngā kai whakahaere i te matatini ki tēnā whakatau au, ara kia uru te reo ki ngā tatauranga matua o te whakatautai?
Ai, tino whakaanau ki tērā.
Ko aima o iho pū manawa, e piki nei koe i ngā taumata, e wero nei koe i ngā tani whā, e whakapātaritari nei koe i ngā whakamātautau o tēnei au. Kāre kore he pou whakawhirinaki o e a whina nei a koe?
Ko tāku, ko te tuatahi ko taku māma. Ko ia toku te take i urua ki te kohanga reo Māori. Tuarua ko taku tuakana, te pairi, Leon Blake rānei. Kātoru ko taku whā Irene rāua ko Nick Whonotoe. Au ka kai ako.
Nō reira, ko tō tau whakamutunga tēnei ki te kura nera?
Ai.
Hea hao wawata mō ngā tau e tū mai nei?
Ko te noho i roto i tō tūrua tōna.
Hara mai rai, hara mai rai. Nō reira, mea ana koe ki te whai i ngā mahi pāpāho?
Ai, ngā mahi pāpāho. Kia ora tō tātou reo. Kia rangona te ao i tēnei reo waiwai.
Me pēnei noa ke taku kōrero ki a koe kei te rapu tangata mātau i te mea. Pāpaku ana te puna o te hunga matatau ki te reo, engari e hia ana ki te whai i tēnei huarahi ki te ao pāpāho nei. Ka mutu e hoa, hea o kōrero ki ngā tamariki e pihi ake ana, e hia ana, kei roto rānei a rātou te kōingo kia uru ki te whakataitai manu kōrero. Ka mea atu ki a rātou, ai me mātua kuhu e koutou tēnei whakataitai i te mea he hua kā puta?
I te tuatahi me whainua koe i te iti kahurangi. Hei aha ngā taumaha, karekau ngā taumaha me hukere tonu te hoe, te waka.
Ko te whea ko te mea nui, ko te toa rānei roto i te whakataitai te mea nui?
Ki au nei harei te whakatātai, ki au nei he whakaora noa i tō tātou reo, he whakatakotoa noho ki oku whakaaro, i oku naue ki tēnei kaupapa oku.
Ka pai e hoa ngā mihi nui ki a koe, mo tō whakawātea mai i a koe, kāre kore, ka ki te māteo te reo tātaki i a koe mahi ana Marae Investigates, mā te karahu rānei a tōna wā nera.
Kia ora.
Kia ora rawa te koe rā nera.
All right, if you want to comment on this week's show, head to our website. That's tvnz.co.nz/Marae Investigates, or join us on our Facebook page. And thanks for joining us. Hey, do you know that I was actually in the Nationals of Manu Kōrero in my 5th form?
My word. How did you get on?
Choked. Nowhere near as good as Raniero.
He's the man. He's the man.
He sure is. All right, stay tuned for Wakahuia, who profiled the man known as the horse whisperer, Tūhoe Zone Puni Tiakiwai.
Ai, he tohunga whakaratarata hoiho ki te reo ko himu. Nō reire hoa mā, hei tērā wiki tātou tūtaki anō ai.
He mea tautoko na te manga. Hei pāho.